Hello. This is one of what will be many Lyfe DMs. I'm dropping you a DM. These are solos, short. They're kind of to just stir up some questions, hopefully get you motivated to go out there and wrench your life a little bit. So today I want to talk about 3 universal, or at least close to universal, human truths. And then I'll elaborate upon one of them, and hopefully that will help you orient yourself a little bit better. Universal truth one. Everyone thinks they're a good person. Think about that. Every single person thinks they're a good person. Hitler thought he was a good person. Stalin thought he was a good person. The shittiest person you know thinks they're a good person. They may use various psychological tools or coping mechanisms to justify, their mistreatment of others or whatever. But if you ask everyone, if you asked 100 people, do you think you're a good person? No one's going to say no. Universal truth 2. Everyone thinks they're smart, or at least not dumb. If you were to ask 100 random people, do you think you're smart, or at least not dumb? Everyone's going to say yes. Some people might say, oh, I'm not that bright, but I'm certainly not stupid. But the reality is we're all stupid, and we're all smart in various different ways. And through mindfulness and other psychological things you can do in meditating, you can kind of navigate that way and try to fill your inadequacies by first identifying them. That reminds me of one saying, was that it was a lot of people have said similar sentiments to this, but the smarter you get, the dumber you realize you are. You're like, oh, I'm going to get into looking into, like recently I've been watching some engineering videos on YouTube and realizing I knew, I'm like, oh, I'll make myself a little smarter by learning some basic engineering, and then quickly seeing how insanely complex it is, I immediately realized how dumb I am in that realm. And universal truth number 3, which I want to get into today, is everyone thinks they're busy. I think that's probably the least universal truth, but especially as we identified the great problem in our early podcast, everyone thinks they're busy. Everyone thinks they don't have enough time. Everyone thinks they're busy. You could waste 100 hours a week on Netflix or something, and everyone still thinks they're busy, they're run down, they're tired. There's not enough time in the day, blah, 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 blah. Oh. Give me a break. So I did not script this out, so I'm kind of going right off the top of my head because I've been meditating on this a lot. I think we need to acknowledge the difference between being occupied and being busy, right? A lot of people think I'm a busy person. I don't think I'm busy. I think I'm always occupied. I like to be occupied. I don't like to waste my time. I don't like to squander my days. Is that the word? Probably. Most people don't use their time effectively. Most people don't apply any sort of strategic planning to their lives, to their goals. Most people are overwhelmed, and a lot of that overwhelming comes from the fact that they don't sit down and think through their goals and their values and apply them to realistic timelines. I'm going to be doing the next full-length podcast is going to be about that subject. But I want to focus very much today on time management. This is why I'm such a big advocate of mindfulness training, of having a meditative space, having activities where you're busy but you're not. Is that the expression? Blaze would know if he was here. That you need to set a time in your week to think through all the clutter in your head, all the things you have to do, and break them down in an order that makes sense. So then when you attack these things, you are more effective, right? You might go through your day and in the back of your head, you're like, oh, I have this overwhelming list of 30 things I need to do, but then you're tackling things as they arise. And then you never get to those things. I see people constantly dedicating time and energy to things that are not pertinent in the current timeline, right? You need to sit down or stand up or jog or run or walk or do something where you're occupied and you could think and you can go, okay, so say this desk right here, you can't really see the desk, but there's all this crap on my desk, right? And once in a while, if you do have a messy desk, you stop and you go through all the crap on your desk. Okay, there's a pile of mail. Let me break up this. Okay, junk mail, junk mail, junk mail, junk mail. So those are things you think you need to do that when you actually stop and think about it, oh, wow. Like, maybe in this pamphlet there are some coupons, which could save me money. That seemed like it should be something I could do. But realistically, saving 50 cents on Pop-Tarts isn't getting you anywhere, right? And the time you might spend looking through the pamphlet, looking through coupons, waste of time. Throw it away. Junk mail in the garbage. Oh, okay. Hit the mic stand. Oh, here's 3 pieces of mail that are bills. Well, that's pretty important. You better open those bills and pay those bills now, right? All right, put my pencils back in the pencil holder. These cables on my table, I'm going to wrap up the cables, put them in the cable position. Now I have a clean desk. Well, that's essentially what you're doing mentally when you're going to kind of meditate on what you need to do, right? You need to look at your goals. What do I have to do today? What do I absolutely have to do today? What do I absolutely have to do by the end of the week or before the weekend or by the end of the month? Or what, like, here's a great example. I didn't get any of my gardens really planted till late in the season because I was preoccupied with other things. I love gardening. I find immense satisfaction and gratification in harvesting what I grow. But it's a luxury. There's other things that you should be doing, that I should be doing, other than just moseying in my backyard, tilling up the dirt. Like, what am I doing? What are you doing? What are you doing right now? You could be listening to a podcast where I'm telling you virtually nothing, but I'm telling you also very something. It's something and nothing. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just reiterating it. And when I reiterate it, I hope it lights a spark in you where you're like, oh, okay, yeah. I'm going to do that thing I know I need to do. The inverse is you could be watching some other crap that's just mental masturbation. To quote Gorilla Biscuits, the New York City punk band, and the song Start Today, a favorite song of mine I wrote to in a video. It's just mental masturbation. That might not be in that song. Whatever. Anyway, you have to get your shit together, dude. You, listener, viewer. I don't really look like I have my shit together. You know why? Because I've thought about that. Do I need to spend a bunch of time brushing my hair and washing my clothes or showering regularly? Okay, that's a joke. I shower regularly. But do I need to spend my time on that? Sometimes, yeah. I met with my CPA earlier this week. You better believe I brushed my hair and I wore a nice shirt because I was in a professional setting. But every day when I'm talking to you, no, it doesn't matter. Does it matter that your headphones are Beats and not these? I don't even know. These headphones I use for these podcasts, I don't even know where they came from. Someone probably left them in my house or something. I don't know. But anyway, I digress. If not for yourself, do it for me. Get your shit together. Make lists. It sounds silly. Just make a strategic list. This could be one of the most important things anyone ever tells you. It sounds ridiculous and silly. Whether it be on a piece of paper, whether you put it on the refrigerator, you stick it on your phone in the notes, whether it's in a Google Drive. Just write down things that are pertinent to today, tomorrow, before the weekend, through the weekend, this week, the end of the month. And then order rank them. And then work toward those things on a daily basis in a manner where you feel like you're being progressive. You're progressing. You're progressing towards these defined, self-defined goals. If you do this, you are going to become better at it the more you do it. Also, when you take your meditative time to think through these things, the more you do it, the better you get at it. I'm not a master at this, but I don't ever sit down on the computer and do any work without spending what feels like an adequate amount of time, what I would say, meditating on it. Mostly all bike riding for me. The reason I can get through this podcast in a manner that seems hopefully not too rough, without a script, without anything in front of me, is because I've thought through this problem thoroughly. And I've thought about how to explain it, how to convey my message in a manner that makes sense. Because I really want you to get your shit together. I keep saying that. We all need to get it. You have no idea. We have no idea how productive we can be if we're all being productive. If you put down your phone, if you turn off the TV, if you assign your TV time to being something that is, you're learning something, right? So here's a realistic thing you could do. I can only do so much, right? This is quote. This is insert random person. I can't work 14 hours a day and then go out and run and ride and blah, 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 blah. I need to sit down and unwind. That's perfectly fine. You know what you need more than I know what you need, right? So let's try to adjust that time to something worthwhile, right? Watch a documentary, watch a lecture series, watch something engaging that is in line with these goals that you have already sat down and wrote down, right? And don't be too, the farther away your goals are, the more abstract they become. You want a meta goal is pay your bills on time, which breaks down into pay your bill as soon as you get it. I do not open an email that's a bill unless I pay it. I do not open the envelope that's a bill unless I pay it. And I used to be lazy with that stuff. But slowly over time, we get better. Get your shit together. I'm trying to get my shit together. I've done a podcast in 2 months. I think about it constantly, and then I fall into this routine. I never sat down and wrote it down. I not even following in my own words, but hey, acknowledge your faults, acknowledge your mistakes, and learn from them. I'm not beating myself up about it. I'm just going to try to get back in the groove. So, do me a favor. Get your shit together. Give yourself some time alone to think, some space, something that is not mentally engaging, but is physically engaging. So you could think through all of the things you need to do. And then when you go to do them, you will be significantly more effective. That would be you wrenching your life. That's it for today. Thank you.